Hi, my name is Pierre Corbin, and I'm the co-founder of NostrEggs. NostrEggs is a new SDK and set of applications that we've been built that has a few cool features and new tech that I want to display in this video and introduce you to, so hopefully you start using them yourselves. So NostrEggs, we're using two new technologies that are Nostr for its decentralization and communication capacities, and the Lightning Network, the Bitcoin Lightning Network, for its micropayments capacities. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can start using it. And in fact, you can even see a demo of it yourself in our chat right here. And so our chat it's built using NostrEggs. And you see at the top, you've got four options really. The first one being GPT-4. The idea of it is that you can just ask it a question and the answer will be given to you by GPT-4, and you will have to pay for each of these questions as opposed to paying the $20 per month subscription fee. So I can give it a question like, what is Nostr? And the Lightning Network. And what's happening now is that thanks to our SDK, this information, along with a bunch of other information, is sent to the end user, to the NostrEggs server, via a Nostr encrypted direct message that is going to query GPT-4, that is going to send us a payment request that we are going to validate, and only once the payment has been confirmed will the answer be sent back to us. So here's the payment request, 42 Satoshis for this one. I'm going to pay now. And after confirmation, here is our answer from GPT-4. Now, this is only using GPT-4, but we can do like we did here. For example, if I click on the NostrEggs one, where we're going to query, in this case, we did it with GPT 3.5 Turbo, where it's going to query the NostrEggs documentation to know. So like, how do I get set up for NostrEggs? And so the process is the exact same one, but on top of it, it's going to go and fetch the vector dataset that we've created for NostrEggs that uses the NostrEggs documentation. And same thing, it is going to send a Lightning invoice back to me, the user. And once I pay it and payment is confirmed, it is going to send me the answer. So here we go, payment request. I pay now. We're just confirming that we received the payment. And as soon as we did, we get the answer right here. Okay, nice. Well, this chat actually, if you like it, we made it on Replit. You just access it here. You can see this app in Replit, and you can just copy it, fork it, and just by changing a little bit of information, this chat can be yours, and you can just set it up with any data that you want. It is already integrated with NostrEggs, and yeah, feel free to do it. In fact, we are going to have a video that explains just how to do that. So you can go and look for it. Now, this app itself has its own set of Nostr public key and private key, because this is what we need right here. It's in fact explained right in here that what we need is the React Nostr private key and Nostr public key. All right. And with these keys, well, we can go and check out our dashboard, and let's go do it now. So I go back to our main website. I can click on login up here, and I have private keys, so the ones for the app that I just created. But if you don't have one, just come in here, create one. It will give you all of the information you need to be able to get started. So, I just paste it in here, I sign in. And the first thing that we see is a dashboard. So this is the dashboard of all of the usage that I did, including what is my spending, total spending, right? We'll, of course, develop this dashboard as time moves forward. But we also have, how many requests you did, responses you received, and also in the last 7 days. And at the bottom, which is pretty neat, is this table that allows you to get a really detailed view on how your app is being used. So we can see here, for example, these two are our most recent questions. So GPT-4 is, of course, more expensive than GPT 3.5 Turbo, therefore the discrepancy. And what you can do in here is actually, you can go and view the details of it. So in this case, we can see, the details of the egg, when it was created, what was the OpenAI model, and also the messages, which in this case, well, we know that the sender was the user, content was this question, and just, general system message. And the response that we got is this one. And we also see the details of the invoice that we received and also how much it cost us. So pretty neat. And I have to say, it doesn't exist in a lot of API providers. Now, of course, you can see your keys right here. You're going to need these two in order to be able to really set up everything in your environment variables. To do that, make sure to check our documentation. Everything step by step is described there, and you'll be able to get started literally in minutes, because you need 3 environment variables to get started with NostrEggs. This is 2 of them. So very, very simple. Now, of course, what we want to do with the NostrEggs is to be able to bring micropayments both to the world of data, the world of APIs, and also simplify the creation of apps in the front end for different developers. And particularly, we have a focus on AI right now. And the eggs are what are the APIs. And we see that we currently have 5. 4 of them were created by ourselves, NostrEggs, and another one we took from Hugging Face just as a demo as to how easy it is to add any API to NostrEggs and start monetizing on it. Obviously, this one, we put 0 sats. We didn't create that model. We shouldn't monetize on it. But these ones we did. So we put a price of 10 satoshis on each of them, right? And the one that we've been using in order to communicate with GPT-4 is this one, chat with OpenAI, as opposed to the one that we use to communicate with NostrEggs, that is chat with OpenAI with vector store. And this, in here, you can see the details of the API, and you can see the interesting part is this column here that shows the way to use the egg. It shows the payload that is expected, the mandatory and optional ones, and there's just explanation of what each of these are. And then there's an example usage. You can literally copy this into your app and it works. And if you don't believe us, then go back to our chat. You can access it from it here. Go to Replit, find the part where we actually use NostrEggs, and you'll see that it is that simple. And what we did here is we give the name of the egg that we're using, chat with OpenAI with the vector store. We say what OpenAI model we want to use, in this case, GPT 3.5 Turbo. They're all available to you, all of them really. There's no limit. The entire list is here. Then we gave it a vector store ID, which in that case was the NostrEggs documentation, and a system message. So you see here, this likely is the ID from the Talk to Satoshi vector database, because this is what we're saying, you're talking with Satoshi, so you are Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin. And then there's, of course, model temperature, so how creative it's going to be, and then the amount of results you want to use from this vector store in order for the AI to build an answer. The more you have, the more precise of an answer you can have. But if I were to crank it up to 300, there's very high chances that I would just have too much of it, and the AI would return an error. So it's a matter of experimenting, but I recommend not going over 30, especially that a lot of it will just be noise and you might not receive the most accurate answers for that. And right at the bottom, the last part, you see paid by app. So in this particular scenario, what is happening is that the app owner, so the app developer, is going to pay for this request. So whatever Lightning invoice comes is going to go not to the user in the front end, the way we had in the chat that the invoice just appears and I confirm and I pay for it, but it will happen in the background. And the app developers are the ones paying for each of these requests. So the way one of our requests costs 22 Satoshis earlier, well then, instead of being paid by the end user, just like I paid, it would be paid directly by the app developers. And if you change it to user, this is when your user starts paying, which I think is pretty interesting because it doesn't really exist elsewhere that, it's either you as the app developer or your users that end up paying for whatever APIs you're using in the background. I mean, just in terms of what kind of features you allow to your users and you allow them to experiment with, and this is just a cost that they might have to bear as opposed to you, is just very interesting in terms of the kind of experiences you can build on different apps for power users as opposed to non-power users. Okay, so if we go back again, this is the list of so it's really our marketplace of APIs. It's the list of eggs, our egg marketplace. You can filter it by free or premium, and you can create a new one if you wish to. It's just a simple form to fill in, as you can see here, including the payload and the example usage that I recommend to do properly, because if you want to get paid for it, so by adding a price here, like 20 Satoshis, then every single time your API is used, you will receive 20 Satoshis. Well, then you want to make sure that users understand the value they're going to get from your API. So you might as well describe it nicely, as it could be a new source of income for you. Now, other than the eggs, of course, we have the nests, which is where the vector databases are held. For now, only vector databases, but we do plan to implement way more types of data into this, because it is, there's so many applications that can be used and that can attract a lot of the data science community, including datasets, etc. And so in here, we see that we've got the Nostr full documentation, Satoshi NostrEggs documentation that we've created with a price of 0. And if I click on it, well, then I can see what it is. I can see the ID. This is what I would just need to replace inside of the query that is sent to NostrEggs as part of the SDK. So just send this value to instantly start talking with something else. And again, we're going to show exactly how to do that in another video where we show you how to copy our Nostr chat, make it your own, and even start monetizing on your own data. And on the side here, you see some of the contents of this vector database. Of course, not the vectorized content, but the text itself, so that you know what kind of content you're going to be working with, what you can expect to see, to use, to read, and to query, depending on what you're creating as an app. And again, if I wanted to, I can make this private, and I could also make it paid if I would choose to 20 Satoshis, 100 Satoshis, whatever I want. I can just input a price. I could then include a Lightning address, so like this one, and let's set it back to public. I hit save, and you see that my vector store has been updated. And from that moment, well, any single time that this vector store ID is going to be used, well, me as the owner, I'm going to get paid. But I don't want that. I want it available for everyone. So yeah, I'm just going to change that back, and you see that the price is now back to 0. Right, and of course you can see your own nests right here. You can see the public ones, the private ones. You can see all of them together. These are the ones that not everyone can see, but you can see as the owner, of course. And this is pretty much it when it comes to NostrEggs. I recommend, of course, you check out the entire documentation in Nostr chat, but I also recommend you to just get started with this. We're really looking for people to test it out, for some feedback, for some errors that we can get to fix, and just get people building, AI very easily by integrating with NostrEggs into their front-end applications. So that's it. Thanks for listening, and follow us and look out for us in more videos that we'll be presenting to you. Thank you.